Oh, let's see.
RPG.
Oh, yeah. No, that's Oh, that's the RPG. He's in the house.
Yeah, there's a boat up this one.
Hi guys, and welcome to a video where I'm going to compare the 3 different attack helicopters in Battlefield 4 and let you know the main differences between all 3 of them and possibly what could be done in the future and possibly even in the next Battlefield to resolve this massive issue that I have found loads of problems with but not really any solutions in how to deal with it, apart from making the teams US versus US or China versus China and therefore balancing the game out. Now to start with, we're going to take a quick look at the Russian attack helicopter, the Havoc. Now I don't know if any of you have ever tried to fly this thing, but it is absolutely useless. It is like a flying tank. The thing is really hard to control. The hitbox on it is absolutely massive. It's nowhere near as agile. And overall, if you're flying this thing, you have a massive disadvantage over the other helicopter, whether it be the Chinese or the US helicopter. Now, as for the gunner point of view, I don't really mind this helicopter at all. I find the sound's a little bit different with it, and the angle that you shoot out isn't exactly as good if you're fighting another helicopter. But the main issue is definitely piloting the thing. It is not a good helicopter compared to the other 2, and if, say, you've got a US versus Russia map, the US helicopter is going to be miles better, and it's a massive advantage for them to have. Not exactly balanced, and this is something that I definitely don't want to see in the next Battlefield. A way to get around this is, as you've seen quite a lot of the time, people tend to switch the servers to US versus US. If you do find yourself in this situation though, and you're on a server where it is Russia versus US, and you're trying to fly in the Havoc, this is something I really wouldn't recommend unless you're a very accomplished pilot and you're flying against someone who doesn't really know what they're doing. Next up, you're going to see a few clips from my favourite helicopter and practically everybody's favourite helicopter on the game, the AH1 Viper, the US attack helicopter. Now this thing is incredibly agile compared to the other 2, even compared to the Chinese helicopter. This thing will absolutely destroy it in a one-on-one battle if you've got say you had the same pilot in each. Whenever I tend to hit my biggest kill streaks, it's usually in this helicopter, especially on the Shanghai server when you're on the US side. Now the Viper itself is it's a lot harder to hit because of the way it's designed. I believe the hitbox is slightly smaller. It's a bit quicker, but I'm not exactly sure why. Now I did have a look for stats on this, but I can't really find too many things, especially off the Synthic thing, because there's been so many changes to air vehicles since the release of the game. But from my own knowledge, this helicopter is far superior to the other 2. And if you're looking to go on these larger kill streaks, then it's definitely worth getting in the Viper and using that as your main helicopter. Next up, we're going to see a few clips in the Z10, the Chinese chopper. I mainly use this chopper when I'm on the Shanghai server and I'm not on the other team, because this is obviously the other side of the map. There's not really too much wrong with this helicopter. I mean, the balance between this and the US one isn't exactly unplayable. However, if you have 2 identical pilots, the US pilot will win 9 times out of 10. The Z10 is a lot easier to hit. It's slightly bigger, I believe, and it's more difficult to get away from locks and hide behind things. So you're going to be a lot better off using the US attack chopper. Now, ways they can deal with this very simply between now and the end of Battlefield's life. People who own servers, if it's a helicopter map, it needs to be balanced between US versus US or China versus China, or even Russia versus Russia. I know the Havoc is a weak helicopter, but I'd rather be fighting another Havoc than fighting another Viper if that was the only option. I know the idea behind it is to have 2 teams where the vehicles are slightly different. In terms of the tanks, the US Abrams used to be, in my opinion, the worst because it was slower and it had that issue at the back where you couldn't shoot infantry behind you because of the way that the turret turned. However, now I actually really enjoy the Abrams. I find the HMG aim is slightly better on it. The speed's been buffed quite a lot, and it does balance out quite well. But yeah, that was the idea behind it. The US would have a nice helicopter but a bad tank, and so on and so forth. You had the same with the LAVs. One could shoot tow missiles slightly faster and things like that. But then you can have another look at it in terms of the scout helicopters. The US again has a really overpowered scout helicopter. It's not something that you notice when you're just a casual gamer and you're just playing the game for fun. Maybe you don't have a specific vehicle that you enjoy to play the most. However, if you are more of a seasoned player like I am and you've played a lot of this game in vehicles, there is a massive difference between the 2, and they have to do something in order to help the balance in the upcoming games. Now, my solution would be in the upcoming games is have the main major vehicles on the map identical, apart from maybe one or two little things. So what I mean by that is if you had an attack helicopter, they both would be the same design, they would move exactly the same way. The only way that I'd maybe change it is the way they look, so the aesthetics of it. The hitbox would have to be the same, mind you, but the aesthetics would be different, and possibly something like top speed, or something that's going to be slightly different but only can be exposed by someone who is maybe retreating or chasing or something like that. In an actual 1v1 heli battle, there shouldn't be anything that makes it overpowered for one team, in my opinion. A little bit is fine, but the difference between the Havoc and the Viper is way too much, has been way too much for the whole of Battlefield. I thought I'd make a quick video on this just to let you guys know my thoughts on this. People have been asking for me to do more videos letting you guys know what I think of the game and what I want in future games, so I thought I'd put this video together. I'll do a couple more of these, maybe on the tank and the LAV. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like. Let me know down in the comments which vehicle you think is most overpowered. I'm really interested to see if people actually notice this sort of thing while they're playing the game. It'd be really nice to get a sort of discussion going. If you nip onto Reddit, you could try and upvote this post, and we can actually get some sort of discussion going over what could be done in the next Battlefield game in order to remove this issue. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next video.
Nice.
Other heli.